Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, are the Clippers having an historically great season? So that's the topic I'm going to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, be sure to be on the lookout for our Dreamerspro Premium community, and also be on the lookout for Dreamerspro.com, which is coming very soon. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So, man, the Clippers are having one hell of a season, guys. This team is having one hell of a season, and they're having a type of season that I could not predict, because going into these seasons, going into every NBA calendar year, you never really know what to expect from teams. We all say the superficial thing, they're going to be better, but what does that really mean, right? But this team, after blowing that 3-1 lead to the Nuggets last year, and all the ridicule that they've come under for them not being able to live up to the hype, this team has made some serious changes, and changes that needed to be made. First of all, one of the major changes that they made was at the head coaching position. People don't pay enough attention to that. We only look at players and things like this. But the decision to part ways with Doc Rivers and go to their bench and tap Tyronn Lue on the shoulder and say, listen, we want you to be the head coach of this team, was, first of all, the first decision that they made that indicated that this team was going in a different direction. Some people said, oh, well, Tyronn Lue was there as an assistant coach. So, what's the big difference? And I said, it's one thing when you're the assistant coach. It's another thing when you're the head coach. And it's clear to see so far, after 14 games in, that the Clippers have a completely different identity from that from what they had last year. First of all, let's get into it. Thus far, Tyronn Lue, first of all, implemented a new culture where, for the first time in over 3 years, you're seeing Kawhi Leonard, who is Mr. Load Management, now playing back-to-backs. The last time Kawhi Leonard did that was in 2017. The guy is now finally playing back-to-backs, and that was one of the things that hurt the team last season. Forget about the whole issues of some players not being receptive to the idea of load management. These guys are playing more games together and therefore getting more reps together. Last season, I don't think they had above 20 games as an entire unit that they played together, like when all the players were healthy. There were so many players in and out of the lineup, with Patrick Beverley, Paul George missing in, I think, the first 10 or 12 games of the season, and then being in and out of the lineup, Patrick Beverley being out of the lineup. But this year, this team is making a concerted effort to play a lot of games together, and you're beginning to see that when they play on the court, because they have a flow. Guys are, they're not a lot of miscues, and the ball is moving. You can see that with the offensive philosophy. That's one thing Tyronn Lue implemented, and I believe that would not have happened if Tyronn Lue wasn't there. Secondly, another acquisition that went under the radar was the acquisition or the addition rather of Chauncey Billups as an assistant coach. Now, I don't know if Chauncey Billups is the offensive coordinator of this team, but his role on this team is being felt, right? Because this new offensive philosophy that they have to put in different sets of the triangle, because they're not running the triangle like, from beginning to end of the games. They're not doing that. Although when the Lakers and the Chicago Bulls were running the triangle offense, they wouldn't run it exclusively for 48 minutes. They did go to different ISOs. Remember when Kobe used to do that? That means isolation, right? They were going to some specific ISO plays. So they never ran that offense 100% of the time. And the Clippers are not running the triangle 100% of the time. They're running it at different times of the game. But you can see with the new offensive philosophy that this team has, with the ball movement and the player movement. I'll give you an example of how this worked yesterday. When they were playing against the Indiana Pacers, who were playing with a lot of force on the defensive end of the floor, you notice that they were playing in the chest. They were playing into the jerseys of the Clippers. You can see they were running a lot of full court presses, and they were just pressuring the ball a lot. So what the Clippers were able to do to attack that aggressive defense was by ball movement, because, as you know, the ball moves faster than any player on the court. So they would swing the ball a lot. Kawhi Leonard, you saw him attack the defense a lot, which would cause the defense to collapse onto him, because he draws double teams, and then kick out the open shooters, and they will swing the ball more than once or twice. That's why you saw so many open shots, right? With the Indiana Pacers team that plays that type of intense defense, for them to get those quality looks comes from ball movement and player movement, and that has a lot to do with their offensive philosophy this season, which has worked wonders. That's why you see Kawhi Leonard averaging a career high in assists. Paul George is close to six assists per game. But let's talk about the reason why I'm saying that this team is having an all-time historically great season, and that has to do with their three-point percentage. The Clippers so far in this regular season are shooting the highest three-point percentage in NBA history. They're shooting better than the Golden State Warriors of Klay Thompson, with the Splash Brothers, Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry. They're shooting the three ball better than those guys. Let's put this into context, right? So far this season, if I look at the team stats of the Clippers have made the most threes in the NBA. They've made 216 threes, and they're shooting 44% from the three. That's 3 percentage points clear of even the Milwaukee Bucks. At this current rate, if this team continues to shoot like this, they're going to make NBA history. But where are these threes coming from, right? There's a bevy of players that this team have on their roster that's causing this percentage to go up so high. Let me tell you the guys on the Clippers that are shooting above 40% from the three-point line on the Clippers. Paul George is shooting above 40%. Nicholas Batum is shooting above 40%. Kawhi Leonard is shooting above 40%. Patrick Beverley is shooting above 40%. I've already named 3 starters that are shooting above 40%. Marcus Morris is shooting above 40%, and Luke Kennard is shooting above 40%, right? Now, they have 3 players that are shooting above 50% from the 3 in Luke Kennard, Marcus Morris, and PG. Let me tell you something. That is out of this world shooting. For you to have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys on your team that are shooting above 40, there are a bunch that are shooting in the high 30s, but a bunch that are shooting above 40, and then you have 3 guys that are shooting above 50 on your team, 2 coming off the bench, 1 on the floor. It tells me that this Clipper team is the best shooting team in the NBA. Now, I don't know the team that has the highest field goal percentage. Yes, the team that has the highest field goal percentage are the Brooklyn Nets with 49%, and then you have the Lakers at 48.8%, and you have the Clippers at 48.7%. That's the overall shooting percentage, but that takes into account buckets in the paint, right? If you're taking in buckets in the paint, then things change. Teams that are more prone to attack the basket are usually going to have a higher percentage because that's a higher percentage shot. Shots closer to the rim are a higher percentage than those further away. So for this team to be in the top 5 in overall shooting in the NBA and be the number 1 shooting team in the NBA from the 3 lets you know just how lethal of a shooting team that this team is. And they're leading the league in free throw percentage. They have the highest free throw percentage in the league. I think for a team they're shooting 82.9% from the from the free throw line. So it's safe to say that the Clippers are the best shooting team in the NBA, just going off of the numbers. If you're taking it to 3, if you're counting for threes, they're the best, and overall field goal shooting percentage, they're in the top 3, right? But it doesn't stop there, because the difference with the Clippers is they're playing out of this world offense, but their defense has yet to catch up to their offense. For the season, they're scoring about 115 points per game, but opponents are scoring 108.6, which is not good. The Lakers I think they're holding their opponents to about 104. I would like to see that number get down by towards the end of the season to like around 103, 102. I think if you can hold teams close to 100 in this NBA that skew towards three-point shooting, you're a very good defensive team. So their defense has to catch up to their offense. But once their defense starts catching up to their offense, this team is going to be scary, because you're not going to be able to stop them on the offensive end because of their ball movement and player movement, and the fact that their stars can flat out shoot. This is something that cannot we can't overlook the fact of just how good their stars are at shooting the basketball. It's one thing if you have great spacing and all of this stuff, but the guys are middle of the pack shooters. But these are exceptional basketball shooters, and Paul George is having a 50-50-90 season, so he's on another planet right now as far as his shooting and efficiency is concerned. But for all of these reasons, I think that this Clippers is having an historic all-time great season. And I think last night, again, they shot again 50% from the 3. If I go and check right now, just give me a moment. I'll let you guys know exactly how well they shot against the Indiana Pacers. Let's see, how did they shoot against the Indiana Pacers? Again, last night they shot 48.7% against the Indiana Pacers from the three. Just think about that. 48.7%. They made 19 out of 39 threes. At one point, Patrick Patterson was hitting threes. Marcus Morris was hitting threes. Luke Kennard was hitting threes. Kawhi was. I mean, it was coming from Patrick Beverley. And even their center, Serge Ibaka, can hit threes. So for me, thus far, this team they're having an historic season, and they're on a historic pace. If they keep it up, this is gonna go down. Just think about it. If the Clippers keep it up, this will be the all-time greatest three-point shooting team in the history of the NBA. Who would have thought that going into this season, given how they underperformed in the playoffs last year? Talk about having a bounce-back season. They go out there and put up this type of stat. That would be incredible. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about this topic? What do you think about the fact that the Clippers are shooting this well? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the next video that we have coming up. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day, and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.